Well, she just sent out a message. She's out like all the VIP person.
And we are live. No, come on, walk behind me. I got a live studio audience here with me tonight, y'all. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Sex, Love, and Marriage, where we talk about all things sex, love, and marriage. Why? Because it is very important that we get the conversations started. So, for those who have never been here before, never met me, I welcome you in to the room. I am your favorite life coach and certified clinical sexologist, Coach K, where I work with women and I work with couples on growing, understanding, and learning intimacy for a more fulfilled sex life and sexual experiences. So while the notifications are going out here on YouTube as well as Instagram and Clubhouse, I think we can get started. So tonight, first, if you've seen any of the promo that I did for this one, um, I did a good acting job, number one. But number two, it starts out with me, the wife, and I'm frustrated and I just throw my stuff down and I name off these things that I do for my husband, and yet he's not never satisfied and I just don't know what to do. So that's the scenario, which is the topic of the room. You did it, but what was the request? When we come together as one, let's back that up. While you're dating, as we talked about last week, it's almost natural that you are, you put your best foot forward, best version of yourself, but you're also accommodating, over accommodating in some cases. Hey, S.4 here on Instagram. Thank you for joining. Sometimes you're over accommodating to the other party. And in the beginning, I guess it's just cute. It's like, oh, you knew that I liked this, or you knew that I did this, and da da da. And so we get used to always anticipating our partner's wants and sometimes need. If we fast forward well into a marriage or relationship, there gets to this frustrative part, probably on both ends, where someone feels as though they do all of these things for their partner, and yet their partner is never satisfied. How frustrating is that? I got to take my water breaks in here. Well, the frustration, oh no, I guess my Wi-Fi is getting spotty. Well, the frustration usually comes from you putting yourself out there. You're, anticipating this thing. You planned this big surprise. You did all of these tasks. We performed a bunch of tasks, but they seem to go unnoticed because there's always something else that your partner is pointing out that they either need or would like to have done or would like for you to do. So if you listen to that entire scenario, you see that there are two points of views that each need what the other is offering, but at different times. It's frustrating to have a laundry list of things that you do for yourself. Add on top of that frustration, the pointing out of these other laundry list items that you did not do. And all of that comes and sits on your shoulders, and then your partner asks you for one thing and you just you verbally vomit all over them. Why is it that someone who does everything, and I'm using this word that I really don't even like to use, I keep saying everything, I honestly, I'm using it sarcastically, but you have this person that says, I do everything, and she just is not happy. She doesn't clean up. She doesn't cook. And I don't understand why. It just bothers me. So you got two options in this case, three options really. You continue to sit and just weep and whine and cry to yourself. You ignore what's happening and you kind of blindly just go through the relationship, or you take your frustration outside of the home and you start to confide into other people who potentially can lead into messing around and all kinds of other foolishness. And so I would be a fan of face the conversation head on. If you truly feel as though that you are doing everything in this relationship and it's going unnoticed, then sit down and have that conversation. But when you're having that conversation, you really need to be open to listening and hearing what your partner is saying. Because what it could be is that you're doing all of these tasks, but your partner never once asked for that. And so while it is a good thing, if you want to be accommodating to your partner, it is also an even better thing to ask your partner what is it that they need, want, and or desire. Someone who and I'll give you an example of a time where even me and my husband was like at odds. My husband, for the most part, he drives big truck. He does stay in the state, but he's gone a good amount of time throughout the day and throughout the week. And so his biggest thing is, I just want to spend time at home. So weekends, and when he is home, it's just I want to spend time at home. Me, my thought process is when I get home from work, I want to make sure that my husband eats. So I'm going to get home, and right before he gets home, I'm going to cook. I'm going to start cooking. And so when he walks in the door, I'm cooking. So I'm getting food together. I'm making sure that he is not hungry for too long when he gets home. Well, it's he's, hey, what are you doing? Come in here with me. I'm home now. I'm like, wow, I'm trying to cook. Yeah, but you know what? Never mind. And so I finished cooking. Now I'm just giving you a scenario. These are the story is not 100% accurate, but these are approximations. Um, and so when it's time to eat, I can tell that he's a little bit guarded. So I'm like, what's going on? None. I'll talk to you later. So after we finish eating, I asked him, so what's going on? He's like, when I come in the house, it's like you don't even speak to me. You didn't even come give me a hug. And so I said, well, my biggest thing was, I know that you've been working for at least 12 hours today. I know that you don't get to stop always and eat because you're in the big truck. I wanted to make sure that your dinner was ready when you got home. And so just that quickly that we had that actual conversation, we both were able to see exactly where our needs lie. I know that my husband would prefer to spend that little bit of time when he first gets home and then worry about eating later. With that knowledge, I'm going to make sure that if I see that he's on the way home, I'm not going to be in the kitchen cooking. Or if I am cooking, if I so happen to cook, I want to make sure that I make a conscious effort that if I can step away from the stove, go and greet, or just say, hey, babe, I'm here in the kitchen getting dinner ready if you want to come on in here with me. So this allows me to, actively play a role in not playing the assumption game, because assumptions is what leads to that frustration. Had I not noticed that he had that aura around him of being guarded, had I not noticed it or had I chosen not to say anything, that cycle that we were going through of frustration because we simply didn't understand would have only festered and grown. And something as small as that can taint a marriage for years until that point is recognized and it's resolved. I've worked with couples that were in the 20s of years of marriage, and there was just as that one point that they realized what that happened over 15 years ago. So having those conversations are super important right then and there. If you know that you are just like me, I want to make sure that dinner's cooked, the laundry is done. I want to make sure that when my husband gets home from a long day that he is, fed and the house looks nice. It would have been way easier for me to ask, or if I see that there is some kind of still unhappiness after I felt like I've done everything and throw my air quotes around that everything, then I would absolutely need to have that conversation. And it's not a combative conversation. Just like literally the way that I talk that conversation out with you guys is the way that me and my husband, we have our conversations that way. Because I am someone who truly believes that people don't just react to things just or don't do things just for no reason. And so if someone in that relationship is sitting and feeling or looking guarded or annoyed or upset, it's okay to ask, not assume. And that's basically what this entire topic is about. Not assuming what it is that your partner wants. I think, again, it is amazing when you can throw a surprise birthday party or you can purchase something that you've seen your partner looking at on TV and have that as a good surprise to them. I'm not saying don't do that. You absolutely want to continue to do that. What I'm saying is, if you're someone who is buying lots of gifts, say you buy your wife a new handbag every 30 days. You lavish her with rings, diamonds, pearls, new outfits, shopping sprees. You gave her the most beautifulest house. You all have children. You know, you bought her a car because that's something that she talked about when she was younger. So you did all of these things. And yet at night, it just seems like there's this cold wall between you. There's no thankfulness. You don't feel appreciated for all those things that you gave to her. Where naturally, you go on the defense of, well, screw that. But how easy is it for him to say, hey, babe, I feel like I just, I give you everything that you want, all the clothes and all the da da da, but it doesn't seem like you're happy. And she may say, I love all of these things, but what I would want most of is time with you. And so that would allow him to now realize that while he works so many hours to make sure that she gets these material things, he would now want to find the balance between working so much and spending time. And purchasing, still being able to purchase the lifestyle that she enjoys. But he would have to take it even a step further. Does she even enjoy this level of their lifestyle? Or would she want to still, make the money that he makes, but live a more modest lifestyle? Those are some of the things that honestly, as we are in relationships, sometimes we forget and we overlook asking those types of questions, especially as you grow in the marriage. There are lots of things that get skipped. Some of the things that you may have talked about when you were dating, you stop talking about it in marriage. not realizing that that cycle of communication should never go away, ever. Understanding that when you guys met when you were 25 and you wanted to live in the city because of X, Y, and Z, now that you all are 45, one of you may no longer want to live in the city, but keeping those conversations open is going to be huge. To say that, I got this new job, I'm making all this money, babe, I moved you out to the city. When we first met, all you ever talked about was living in the city. Here I purchased this nice apartment in the city just for you, and you're still not happy. Boom. Yet again, a slowdown in communication, because when they first met could have been 15 years ago. So then it becomes a matter of, when was the last conversation that you all had about what environment would you want to live in should one of you get a position at X, Y, and Z? When you're even applying for that major job, did any of those new qualifying conversations come back up? Do we want to stay in the city? Do we want to move over here? Do we want to have more kids? Do we not want to have more kids? All of those things should not be assumptions that are made. Assumptions will always cause frustrations. So, with the title of the room being, You Did It, but what was the request? The next time that you are finding yourself in a frustrated place, feeling like that you do it all and you are not appreciated, stop, take a step back. And on your list of everything, as I say that sarcastically, I want you to think back to what on that list was the actual request or ask from your partner. And if out of 25 things, only one of them was an ask or request, then it's time that you reevaluate how you go into what you do and how you express your love language. So it is 18 minutes after, and I am going to cut you guys a little bit short. I don't have any comments or questions in here because I have some fried apples that I just made at home, and I'm going to go and eat them. But before I go, I do want to remind you all, just like we were just talking about, not assuming, and open up the lines of communication. I have the Mind Fucked, which is the couples sensual touch yoga class coming up on November the 12th. It is all about verbal and nonverbal communication, channeling energy and reconnecting with your partner. So that is November the 12th at 2 o'clock and 6 o'clock. So it's two classes. Also, ladies, I have the She Flow, which is the ladies sensual touch class. That is going to be December the 3rd. Registration for the third annual Foods and Love Couples Retreat is open. We're only taking 5 couples. So for all of this information and to just see more of the events that I have coming up to get us back to a more communicable place between partners, you can go to CoachK101.com. That is CoachKay101.com. Don't forget to join me right back here next Tuesday, because I am here every single Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Or next week on November the 1st, the topic is permanent decision, temporary situation. That's going to be a good one, and it stems back to something from way back when. So don't forget, if you have not already, make sure you are following me on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to the page, turn those notifications on so you know every single time that I go live. You can find me on all platforms at Coach K101, CoachKay101. And I will see you guys right back here on next Tuesday. Don't forget all of the festivities that we do have this weekend. We have the breast cancer awareness paint and sip. Okay, that's it. I'll let y'all go. CoachK101.com. Bye, everybody.